everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing something kind of weird. As you can see, I have some clay, very exciting. I will explain that in a minute. So basically, long story short, yesterday I went with my friends to McDonald's and I got a Happy Meal. And you know, a Happy Meal comes with a toy, and currently McDonald's is giving out these steam robots, and the design of it is really cute, but I really wanted to repaint him because I hate his colors. And so I figured I'm just going to give this little robot a complete makeover. So this is what he looks like right now. His function is that he's supposed to be able to be taken apart and then he spins like a top, but I don't really care about that literally at all. I'm going to be changing him up quite a bit, and we're going to be seeing the end result because honestly, today's my day off. I have no homework that I need to do necessarily right this moment, so I'm not going to do it. So let's just go ahead and get started with this robot makeover because that's literally just what I'm choosing to spend my day on. Also, this is epoxy clay. I just spent a stupid amount of time mixing it because it was so difficult to mix and it really hurts my hands, not gonna lie. I think it's just a specific clay I have. I don't know if all epoxy clay is like this, but I have a ball of it rolled out and ready to go, so we can basically start on all of our things that we're making, because I also wanted to like add some pieces to him. I don't know what I'm gonna add yet, but first things first, I'm going to super glue his legs. I'm trying to think. If you're twisting like this, then yeah, your leg stance should be like this. I'm gonna super glue his legs because I don't like how they come off, and I feel like it's just going to make it more difficult to paint. First part of the makeover, we're really just jumping right into this. I also have to jump right into this because the epoxy clay will harden at a rate, so I need to work with that before harden. So I'm going to super glue his legs on. Basically, I can just snap him back on. I'm going to set him down standing, and I assume that gravity will do the rest of it. The first thing I want to add is I want to add some little wings to his little like helmet headpiece thing. I've seen a lot of little robot things have this before, so I really want him to have one. I don't know how I'm gonna make this. This clay is getting really soft because it's getting warmed up in my hands, which is good and bad because, you know, it's good because it's soft and it's easy to work with. First thing I wanted to do is obviously glue on his legs, which feel pretty stuck, and I wanted to fill in all of these gaps that are like from the manufacturing. I know why they do it, and I know they have to do it, but it makes it really difficult to paint and kind of ugly, to be honest. So I'm just going to take this clay, squish it in there, and I'm gonna smooth it out. It works pretty well because you can just shove clay in there, and you can smooth out epoxy with water, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, it's been a hot minute since I last used epoxy clay. I'm gonna go and make all the alterations I need, and then I will come back and show you guys because I really need to focus on this part. I'll update, my hands are looking grimy, but I just put on these two little wing pieces. Also, I covered up a lot of the holes that were in the little guy, so I will probably just keep going and add as many pieces as I want to. Whoa! Ugh, I'm trying to scoot up close enough to the table. Okay, so now that it's been a long enough time, he is fully set. This is what he looks like. As you can see, I put these little ear thingies on him. So you can see he has all these heart buttons. I also filled in all of the hollow spaces, and it's all dry now, so it basically just feels like plastic, which is really cool. And I filled in some holes that were in him from like manufacturing purposes. Here's some heart buttons. So now I'm going to paint him. Honestly, didn't really think that far about painting him, but I know that the first thing I'm gonna do is, do I even have a large brush? I don't. I think this is the largest brush I have, and the brush quality is terrible. I suppose I have these too, but wow, they're all just quite bad. That's okay. I don't really feel like buying more brushes. Do I have any I really don't have any just laying around. Are you serious? Just kidding, I totally do. So I'm going to be painting this guy. I need water as well. I'm gonna use a shot glass because I don't know, that's what we're using. And so I put some water in him, and so now we can just, oh, he's falling. Now we can just get started. I don't know what I'm gonna do. First thing I'm gonna do though is put on a coat of white over everything, just so I have an even base I can start working on. I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about in this video, to be honest. I was thinking about it before we started, and wow, this is gonna have like some terrible brush strokes all over him just because this brush is not smooth and kind of messed up from oil paint. You're not even supposed to mix oil paint and acrylic brushes, but look at me now, being a rebel. I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about in this video, but recently I started to reminisce about life, mostly about what I was like a year ago from today, things like that. You know, you just get in the mood of like wanting to remember what life was like. And so I went back and watched some of my old videos where I talk about art, and I realized I haven't talked about my perspective on art in quite a while, and it definitely has changed. Like, I definitely don't think about art the same way I used to. Oh, he had a mouth. Wish I realized that sooner, or I would have probably sculpted over it. But oh well. Wow, this brush seriously kind of sucks. I don't have anything better. What kind of art student am I? Am I an art student? Why do these all suck? I haven't talked about my perspective on art, and most specifically why I make art, and I feel like from being on YouTube, I kind of stopped thinking about it, and I didn't want to do that, so I thought I'd come and update you guys, give you an updated version of why I do art. I did make this video a long time ago. If you guys want to watch it, I will link it for you guys, but it's been quite a while since I've talked about it, so I figured what better time to have to talk about it than when I'm making this meaningless object. Like, I'm doing it for fun, but this isn't for like a class or anything. It's literally just because I wanted to make something look prettier, and so that's what I'm going to do. Also, I really should have bought new brushes because I'm in the need for new brushes anyways, but I didn't, lol, so here we are. Back to what I was saying, why I do art. So obviously now I do art because I'm in school for art, but more importantly, people ask me a lot about how I deal with artist block and if I even get artist block, and I definitely do. But every time I do and I take a break from art, within a few weeks, a month at most, I've probably done some form of art, which is why I can never step away from it. Like, I'll just stop working on whatever project I'm working on now. I will think of something I want to make relatively soon. Wow, this guy has a lot of surface area. I never truly take like a break from art, even if I took a break from like lessons, from class, from assignments, from whatever, over winter break, spring break, summer break, whatever break. I don't have to be doing art anymore, but I always find a way to go back to doing art. And I think that's important to think about when you have something that you can't help but do, that like, even though I didn't think I'd want to be doing it, I find myself doing it anyway because it's just truly what I want to be doing. And I don't think it's easy to find something like that. So I think when you find something that's that important to you, it's important to keep it. You know, if you have something that you can't live without, you should do your best to keep that in your life. So I do art not only just to practice, to get better at it, and also to, you know, maintain my sanity, because apparently I can't go without doing it. Even though I've never been the type to be very emotionally— I need more paint. Is this? No. Even though can I do this with one hand? Even though I've never been the type to necessarily be emotionally connected to my art, I never have been able to do art when I'm sad, or been able to force myself to do art because I feel some sort of emotion. I know some people use art to convey emotions. I probably do that, but I don't think I do it in a straightforward enough way that I would even count that as doing that. It's kind of complicated to explain. Like, I think I convey emotions because I want people to experience the emotions I'm talking about, but I don't do it to convey like, look how sad I am, look at this time I went through, this is how I visualize it. You know what I mean? I'm conveying an emotion that I want you to feel, but that doesn't have to do with how I felt. So my own emotions don't necessarily play into my art, is what I should say. But I think I do art mostly for myself, but also for other people, because I want other people to be able to experience the things that I'm talking about. Because sometimes you just can't convey things without words, you know? I just realized this would have been much easier to just spray paint a white coat over, but I didn't do that because I'm dumb. So I guess this will all just be hand painted, which isn't that rare for my projects. Usually I feel like my stuff is all hand painted. I think it's really hard to talk about emotions, especially for me, because as much as I'd like to say I'm connected with my own emotions, I don't think I am, and I think that I don't have many people in my life who try to interpret my emotions for me. That's just not the relationship I have with anyone, I don't think. There's a good chance this might not even turn out, and that's okay. I will have just wasted a day doing virtually nothing, but that's okay. That's just how it is sometimes. It's the process. I also think my perspective on art has changed a lot since I've come to RISD, just because, you know, you're taught to think about art a different way. I've always thought that it's okay to have an emotional connection with art, and I've always thought that, you know, it just wasn't for me. But since being here, I've realized that some people, when you think too deeply about it, makes it even worse. The worst thing you could do is pretending like you have a deep emotional connect with anything you make when you don't, because people can see right through that stuff, and it's very, very obvious. So please don't do that. If anything, if you're gonna do anything at all, please don't do that. On his last leg. And then I'm going to mix up a batch of a pink color to coat his entire body. Painting the base coat and the main layers of colors are always the hardest, just because it goes by pretty quickly, which means everything else is still wet, so it's kind of hard to find something to hold on to. This is definitely the most like uneven layer of coat I've ever done. You can see way better up close that he's just not that even, but that's okay. So now I'm going to set him over here. Here, I'll set him over here so you guys can see him. Does he even stand? So now we're going to mix together a batch of pink, which I usually like to use cadmium red and a little bit of magenta. If you guys are wondering the materials I use, because I feel like I always get questions about materials, these are the Liquitex Professional Heavy Body Acrylic Paints. I'm also using mostly Winsor & Newton brushes, but probably a few others as well, just so you guys know. I'm gonna use a palette knife to, this is dried acrylic, to mix the colors just so I don't ruin a brush. I think we are ready to rock and roll. Okay, so, oh my god, I'm getting my brushes in all of the paint. I'm gonna use this really big brush again, just because I'm now going to do a full coat of this pink, and I want to get this a solid color, so I don't know how many coats that's going to take me. This isn't even fully dry. This is not a good idea, but we're just gonna do it. Ideally, you would wait for every coat to dry, but we're not gonna do that because I'm impatient. And so you're probably wondering, Tiff, why did you put on an entire base coat of white if you're just going to put on another base coat of pink? Well, you see, the white helps the pink show up a lot better, so that is why you want to do that. I think I'm gonna have to go in and do 2 coats of this pink, but that is okay. Painting acrylic on plastic also is always really hard, because if you drop this thing, the paint is going to chip until you seal it. So until then, this guy's pretty fragile to work with. But anyway, back to my perspectives on art. I really should have like written this out more, but I kind of wanted to just like tell you guys literally how I feel about it. Something new that I think about art now that I didn't think about before is that it doesn't always have to mean anything, in the sense that it's okay if you just make something cute or funny or weird just for yourself, like I am right now. Like, that is okay. It still counts as art, and it doesn't mean that you are wasting your time or doing anything about that. I think that's just a different perspective on life, is that you should do whatever makes you happy, and it doesn't have to be anything grand or big, because the small things are what counts, you know? It's important that you make yourself happy, and if, you know, making something really cute but meaningless makes you happy, if drawing a fish with 3 really long legs makes you happy, I don't see why you can't do it, you know? So you should do it. And if you want to make meaningless art, it's not even meaningless, because it's meaningful to you. And that's kind of deep, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that's literally the point of art sometimes is to just make life a little bit more bearable, because sometimes life can get really hard. Recently, life got a little bit hard for me, and so I took a break. Oh my god, his little thing just fell off. No! It's okay. This is quite an easy fix, to be honest. You just have to super glue it back on. See, this is the parts of art that you don't see on camera a lot, is when people mess up and break pieces of their thing while they're making it. I'm gonna add a little bit of super glue to this guy. Gonna glue him right back on. Won't even matter. Don't panic, guys. Panic is not good for you. Super glue will fix that up. And then there was a little, literally can't see that. You see that? That got some paint on it, but that's okay. You can just paint right over it. It's the base coat. No one cares. I forgot my train of thought because that totally just frazzled me. But oh, life gets hard, right? So I think if there's anything that you want to do that doesn't hurt you or anyone else, but will make living on this world just a little bit more bearable for you, you should do it. You know, if it's not bad, if it's just a dumb little thing, if you literally just want to go out and take a walk and that would make you happier, go do it. I know that this seems like common sense for some of you, but I think sometimes when things seem so meaningless and pointless, you just don't think to do them. If you're thinking like, I could go to the store right now, buy a bunch of acrylic paint and a canvas, a giant canvas that will cost so much money, and I could paint something that will probably turn out not even how I envisioned it, but it'll make me happy, I think you should do it, because anything to make living life a little bit more bearable, you know? Like what I'm doing right now, totally meaningless. This means nothing. This is not an assignment. This is not even relaxing necessarily. I don't find art relaxing until I'm completely done with it. Like the entire time I'm doing it, I'm stressed, but I always think the end result is worth it, so that's why I do it. There's so many little details on this guy, I just realized. I don't know how I'm gonna get to all of it, but hopefully I'm going to finish it today. That's my goal. I don't know why I decided to be so deep today on camera, but you know, I've been going through some stuff and life's just been a little bit more difficult lately, but I'm trying to regain balance and feel at peace. It's really hard to live life when you're not feeling peaceful, so if for whatever reason you're not, just take some time and reevaluate. I really hope this guy like dries faster though. The thing is, it's really cold right now in Rhode Island, obviously, because you know, it's the north, and I'm so bad at dealing with the cold. Like, you guys don't even understand. I'm absolutely the worst person to be living here, yet here I am. But it's been so cold lately, and so that means acrylic paint is drying much slower, which is really irritating when you're trying to do a project and you're trying to finish it somewhat quickly, you know? I'm hoping it will warm up really, really soon, but I don't think it will, because I think February is supposed to be one of the coldest months in Rhode Island. I'm not looking forward to, yay! Random tip, if you guys ever do anything like this, if you guys ever are painting acrylic on plastic, don't press down too hard with your brush, because then you're going to scratch off the paint that you put on under it. Even like your fingers holding it for too long can do that. Acrylic paint just scratches off super easily until you seal it, like I said, so you just want to be as gentle with it as possible. Just quite irritating, but you know, what can you do? Hello, so I went off camera and did some of it. As you guys can tell, this is what he's looking like. I'm adding the gold, as you can see right now, onto some of the pieces, and I'd say I'm about 50% done now. Definitely have a lot left to go, but these gold pieces are worrying me a little bit, because the way gold paint usually works is that it's super, super translucent, which means you have to add a bunch of coats. So I feel like using this gold is going to be a big pain in the ass, but we will see how it goes. So far it's been okay. It's definitely not as bad as I originally thought it was, but it definitely is still requiring a bunch of coats. I'm doing a rim, oh god, I'm messing up. I'm doing a rim on the glasses right now. Wow, this is coming out as a mess. Wow, of course when I come back on camera is the time I mess up and struggle the hardest. Wow, this is so difficult, but The rim on the goggles is coming along. I don't know why. Suddenly this part is the most difficult part that I've done so far, because I've done a lot of the other parts which I feel like were equally if not more difficult, but I'm trying to clean up the paint job around it. Do I have silver? I feel like silver would be better on this, to be honest. I do have silver. Oh my god, I literally used gold because I thought I didn't have silver. Okay, just kidding. I'm gonna go and cover all of the gold with silver. Why did I do this to myself? Hello, wow, so I'm making bad decisions left and right. I just went through a wild ride. I'm fixing all my mistakes, which is honestly painting. Painting is just, you know, continuously things going okay, and then as soon as it starts going a little bit too okay, you start fixing your mistakes, or you mess up drastically, and of course nothing can go right. So that is what happened to me. Basically, I started going a little crazy. I added some gold, which looked terrible. So then I started adding silver, which also looked terrible, and I was covering the gold to put silver on top, and then that wasn't looking good. And so now I am just covering all of the silver on gold on whatever bullshit that I just created, and trying to just make it go back to the way it was before. The idea that I went with is basically a little robot, obviously, who is like bubblegum colors, cotton candy colors. Those are the colors I've been liking a lot lately, so those are the colors that I've been doing. I also did this thing that I don't know if you guys have seen the donut girl from Tokidoki, but one of their designs has a girl with a donut ring around her, and this guy has a ring around him. So I figured I would borrow that idea, and now this guy also has a donut around him, which is very, very cute. But the problem with that is now I have introduced this new color, which is, you know, the cream color, and so now I have to go and add that throughout the little guy so that it doesn't seem so jarring. This cream color is actually the reason I started adding gold to things, because the way I made this cream color was I added white to gold, and so that's why I thought it would look good. But little did I know it would very much not look good. But I just spent the past, I would say 30 minutes trying to fix everything I did. Almost done with the general detail phase of this. Can you see how chunky? Please just show up on camera. Do you see how chunky that white ring is around the mask? It's just really, really bad, but you know, I think it'll be okay. We'll make it through, and all will be well in the end, just not currently because I messed so many things up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the fine detailing phase. So if you guys have never painted with me before, or I guess I've probably never even mentioned this before, I have different phases when I paint. The first thing I do is the base coat, which you guys saw me do. The second thing is the general detailing, where I just kind of lay down the color blocks, which I have now done, so everything's like the color it's going to be. And now the third phase is the fine detailing, where I start adding in little cute things like the eyes, the facial expressions, little details everywhere. Like for example on the shoes, I just added those lines. So I'm gonna go through and do that. I feel like I'm adding like buckle things on his shoes. I also need to go and paint the hearts. I just realized I didn't do that yet, but that'll be part of the fine detailing, I guess. This is starting to become relaxing. I feel like the part about art when it becomes relaxing is when it's not super difficult. So this part of the detailing is not super difficult because I don't have to be making really big decisions about like what's gonna be what color and I'm gonna make it look good, because for the most part it does. Typically it can only go up from here, I hope. I mean obviously you could always mess up, but I feel like usually at this stage I don't. And I'm hoping that I've used up all my bad luck, considering I just like did gold and silver and they both did not look good. Wow, okay, it's the last step. So this is what he looks like currently. I kind of love him. So what I'm gonna do is, oh god, he's standing in a puddle of water. That's not good. I spilled water earlier. What I'm going to do now is, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this entire palette that I was just using so I don't risk getting any more paint on him. I'm using a tearaway palette paper pad, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. So now my surface area is super clean and I can just sit him here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put some rhinestones on him. So after this part I will be done. I'm going to glaze him and finish him up. So I'm just going to stick these on because they're adhesive. Normally I would use super glue, but since they're already adhesive, I should probably use tweezers. I'm going to, oh my gosh, we can match. So I'm gonna put little ones under his eyes, which totally match my makeup today, so that's so exciting. Yeah, so now there's two under his eyes, and now I'm just gonna go through and put some where I see fit, which is, you know, basically everywhere. This is so cute so far. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of take one and stick him wherever you see fit. I'm gonna put this one here. I want a bigger one. We're gonna do a really big one. Oh my gosh, barely fits on my tweezers. I'm gonna take a really big one, put that one here. Okay, I'm gonna stop now before I go overboard because I feel like I'm already going overboard, but this is what he looks like. Oh, I forgot to think about this. I'm going to put some glitter nail polish on him too. So let me go see what nail polishes I have. So currently in my arsenal, I have this one. I don't even know what color it is, if it even says. Oh, it's called Disco Ball by Sally Hansen. I'm just going to apply a little bit of this on some parts, and then we will glaze him with some resin. So I'm going to put this on the wings. I'm going to put this on all 4 of his wings. So he has 2 wings on his helmet, and then 2 on his shoes. I'm like so anxious to complete this that I'm starting to get sloppy, which is not good. I should be patient because this is like the finishing touches are where, like, if you get sloppy, you know, it's just not going to look good. I'm going to put this on the little chest plate. And so here's what he looks like currently, and here is the back. Matches my nails, very cute. But yeah, I'm just waiting for him to finish up drying, and then we can put him in the UV lamp, where I'm going to be using some UV resin to glaze him. And so, also sorry about the constant camera changing. I guess a little bit too late for that now since the end of the video. But I'm now going to glaze him with a UV resin that I have been using for a long time. If you guys are curious about what brand of UV resin I use, it is this one. You can get it on Amazon. But basically, I'm going to pour this out onto him, glaze a coating, and then put him in my UV lamp, and then I will be done. Wow, we're really gonna finish him. This is crazy. I'll be back once I'm done. There he is. This is what my UV lamp setup looks like. So yeah, we will see him in a bit. I can't believe I'm finally filming this part. And so, wow, with the entire 6 hours I've spent on this project, I am done with him. So this is what he ended up looking like, and I love how shiny the resin is. I just love the way everything looks. The microwave is beeping. Okay, anyways, I'm so happy with the way he looks, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh my god, this took me so long to do, but it was literally so worth it. But that's pretty much all I have to say. Remade McDonald's toy because I had free time for once. This is why you shouldn't let me have free time, because this is what I end up doing with it. But here he is, finally done. This took so long to do, but I love the way he turned out. For once, I actually love the way something turned out. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Check my socials if you guys want to keep up with these random things that I do, and I will see you guys in the next one. So stay hydrated, take a nap, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.